I don't know about you guys, but I am such a bookworm. I love a rainy day and getting cozy with a new book. I even love the smell of books. And of course, mystery or thrillers are my go to, but finding the time to sit down and actually read them, that's the real mystery. So, as much as I love the feel and smell of a good page turner, I also love Audible. You can listen to thousands of audiobooks, podcasts, and originals while doing literally anything. And the best part, your entire library goes with you. True crime, paranormal deep dives, thrillers, memoirs, whatever your brain may be craving, Audible probably has it. Start listening today by grabbing your free Audible trial through the link in my show notes. With an Audible membership, you get 1 credit every month to download any audiobook you want to keep for free, plus unlimited listening to thousands of podcasts and Audible originals with Audible Standard. So whether you're driving, cleaning, walking the dog, cooking dinner, or spiraling down a late night true crime rabbit hole again, your next story can go with you. Start a free trial today, download the Audible app, and begin listening in minutes. Just check the link in my show notes to get started. Your next obsession is waiting. Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Booze Clues. Oh my gosh. I asked for cursed game stories, and you guys delivered. I couldn't include all the stories, so I chose 5 for this episode. But oh my God, these are so spooky. They're so scary. Why are you guys playing these games? That's what I want to know. Now, there is one I included that isn't about a cursed game. I just thought it was really funny. So I included it because it's my podcast and I can do what I want. But thank you all for always delivering. My email has been popping off. And we had a few people use the form on the website, which I don't know why that's so fun for me, but it is. I love seeing people use the website. That's what it's there for. And while you're there, grab a shirt or a hat. They're super cute. Oh, and I forgot to tell you guys, the issues with iHeart have been resolved. I don't know what was happening, but it's back up now. And they let me know like 2 weeks ago, and I forgot to mention it. So sorry. But it's up there again. All episodes are up. And it looks like, from the numbers, some of you already figured that out. So good job. Good job, guys. Way to be on top of it. I also wanted to thank everybody for the book and movie recs. Shout out to Ashley from Chicago, who told me I would love The Spider and the Fly by Claudia Rowe. I could not put it down. Well, I couldn't take out my earbuds because I was listening to it. But you know what I mean. Oh my good God, such a good book. And then I love that so many of you were recommending Skip Hollandsworth, which, listen, we love Skip. Okay, no one doesn't like Skip. He is a national treasure. So thank you again for all the recs. I can't wait to devour them all, just like I devoured these stories that you write in. It was hard to choose. I did, though, intentionally pick some of the shorter stories because I feel like I haven't really given those enough love. And it's not intentional. When I do read them ahead of time or skim them, I end up realizing that I picked a lot of the longer ones. So today, this episode is in honor of the shorties. Fun sized, like those little Snickers. Well, let's get started. The subject line of this first one is the midnight game made my sister pee her pants. Honestly, great marketing. Incredible job. This listener says, "Hey, Taylor, my name is Faye." Oh, Faye, I love your name. So pretty. Faye says, "You can use it. I have a story for you about the first and last time I ever played a cursed game. Back in high school, 2010s era, my cousin convinced my sister and I to play the midnight game because I guess normal hobbies are for quitters. We did all the ritual stuff that we found online, lit a candle, turned off every light in the house, whispered the rules to each other, and spent the next hour creeping through my grandma's house trying to scare ourselves. My grandma obviously wasn't home. That would just be rude to subject her to. I agree. She says she was out gambling. Grandma loved to play the slots, so we took this time to invite entities into the home. Because, why not? At first, nothing happened, and we started making fun of the game for being fake. We weren't even that scared, and we couldn't stop giggling. For context, my cousin was 19, I was 16, and my sister was 11. So there we were, giggling about the house in the pitch black darkness, when my sister suddenly froze and whispered, "Do you guys hear breathing?" My cousin and I both stopped to listen, but neither of us heard anything. Charlotte, no one is there. It's just a silly game, I said. But my cousin piped up and said, Girl, you don't know that. She was always a believer of the group. So, as I was trying to comfort my sister, because she clearly got spooked by something, her candle went out. At that exact moment, we heard what sounded like somebody sprinting across the second floor. Remember, we are home alone. Oh, fuck that. She says, and it's worth noting that Grandma did not have cats or dogs or anything like that. According to Grams, she spent her entire life cleaning up after kids. She did not need to clean up after an animal, too. I mean, valid. Animals are a lot of work. Grandma earned that solo gambling life. She goes on to say, so once we heard the footsteps sprinting across the floor above us, chaos immediately erupted. My cousin dove over the couch. I took off running and somehow managed to slam directly into a wall, and my sister completely lost it. She was running around the kitchen trying to find salt because the lighter wasn't working. It was insanity. Picture 3 girls screaming in the dark, running in all directions. We clearly are flighters, not fighters. She said, my cousin and I finally ran barefoot out the front door, leaving my little sister inside. I didn't realize until we were outside of the house. I thought she would have the common sense to follow us. She did not. Instead, she was standing in the kitchen, clutching the salt, and had made a jagged circle around her. Just then, Grandma pulled up and said, What the hell is going on? We frantically explained to her what had happened, which probably just sounded like squawking because we were, well, doing just that. She said, Oh, good Lord, can't a woman go out gambling without coming home to a man making a fuss? Oh, I love your grandma. We refused to go back inside, but Grams headed straight in there yelling, You are not welcome here. Get the hell out of my house. She turned the corner and switched on the kitchen light, and that's when she saw the salt surrounding Charlotte. We hear her say, That's my Epsoms. Turns out she hadn't grabbed salt from the pantry. She had grabbed the bag of Epsom salt from the bathroom, which in her defense was closer than the kitchen during the chaos. Then Grandma looked down and went, Clean up on aisle spooky. We got a yellow substance. Charlotte had peed her pants. Oh, man. She says, I felt so bad, but could not stop laughing. Thankfully, Charlotte wasn't really that embarrassed. Typical second born, am I right? Yeah, no, you're so right. They don't get embarrassed about anything. Charlotte just said, You guys know I have an overactive bladder. This was true. Charlotte always had to pee. She must have had to go to the bathroom before we started playing, but didn't due to her nerves. Typical Charlotte. And then the Midnight Man spooked the pee right out of her. We all had a good laugh. Grams helped Charlotte clean up, and at the end of the night, she said, I'm going to a movie tomorrow with Maggie. Make better choices this time. And that was that. Midnight Man didn't get us, and we learned that Grandma did not fuck with any spirits. She did, however, fuck with us for the remainder of our stay, making noises in the middle of the night or blowing out candles intentionally, saying, Gasp, the Midnight Man, then cracking herself up. Grandma always had a great sense of humor and still does. She couldn't wait to tell my parents all about it when they returned from their couple's vacation. Anyway, I don't know if the game actually works because I've never played it again, but I do know that we definitely heard running. Very, very clear footsteps sprinting above our heads that night. Maybe our screaming and squealing scared off the Midnight Man? Or maybe he saw Charlotte's pee and said, You know what? You got enough going on. Anyway, love your podcast and thank you for reading this if you ever do. Faye. Oh, Faye, I am obsessed with your grandma. She sounds so fun. Oh, I hope to be that grandma. I do feel so bad that your sister peed her pants, though. I think we all, though, like we all have a peeing our pants story, right? And if you don't, you're lying. Everyone has peed their pants at some point. Send in your peeing your pants stories. Thank you for writing in, Faye. All right, this next subject line is Who Let the Bats Out? Well, hello, spooky friend. I have a story for you. My name is Tanya, and this isn't a spooky story, but it is my go-to story to tell at parties. So enjoy. Thank you, I will. Years ago, when I was just a young lass, I went hiking with a guy I had just started dating. Everything was going great. We stopped at a stream and admired the beautiful sunlit leaves and the shimmer on the water. We had yummy snacks, talked about our future, and held hands when the terrain didn't require him to walk behind me in case I fell. It was great until we came across this huge cave tucked into the side of a mountain. Now, normal folks would admire this from the outside, but instead of doing the smart thing and admiring it from a safe distance, we looked at each other and thought, let's go inside. No, don't do that. Stay out of random caves, you guys. She goes, I swear it was telepathic. In hindsight, this should have been the moment I realized that neither of us had enough self preservation instincts to survive a horror movie. She says, we made it about 50 feet into the cave when I heard something moving overhead. Then, another noise, like a high pitched squeak. But once I realized what it was too late. We had disturbed them. Suddenly, the entire ceiling seemed to explode as hundreds of bats flew straight toward us. I screamed, turned around, and immediately started running for the exit because I love bats, but not only fly at me like literal bats out of hell. Yeah, no, that I would probably cry. Because me too. Love bats, think they're adorable. Don't want them anywhere near my head, though. She says, I was on the verge of tears as I stood outside the entrance looking around for the man who was supposed to protect me. Meanwhile, this absolute lunatic didn't move an inch. Instead, he stood perfectly still with his arms stretched out to the sides in front of the cave entrance while bats flew all around him. Was this loser trying to impress me? Who does that? You're gonna get rabies. I stood in complete shock as the sun was setting and he finally walked outside. He had a big ol' smile on his face, completely unbothered. I was sure he was a psychopath and lured me there to kill me. But instead, he looked up and said, I understand Bruce Wayne now. I couldn't help but laugh because what the fuck? We finally agreed it was time to head back, as, like I said, the sun was setting. And for the rest of the hike, this man kept pretending to be Batman, talking in a gravelly voice and acting like Gotham City needed him. And somehow, despite witnessing all of this firsthand, I still married him. Yep, that man became my husband. I love this. He is still just as weird, and our kids take after him in that department. You gotta love your weird kids. I got some of those too. Wouldn't trade it for the world. She says, thankfully, no one got bitten, no one got scratched, and no one got rabies. So, there you have it, fellas. Apparently, pretending to become Batman after being dive bombed by bats is husband material. Take notes, because he's a keeper. Tanya from Texas. Wow, Tanya, I just have one question. Are you sure he isn't actually Batman? Because the chances of that happening are like very, very slim. I'm just saying, have you ever seen him and Batman in the same room together? Just something to consider. You never know. I love this story. Like I said, not a curse game story, and actually neither is this next one. So I lied. There's actually two that aren't curse games. But thank you for writing in, Tanya. I love that story. Okay, our next subject line is, I had to leave jury duty because I knew the person on trial. Yikes. Like I said, not a curse game, but these stories are always welcome. This listener says, Hi, Taylor. Love the pod. Love the merch. I just bought a hat and will be wearing it everywhere I possibly can. Oh my God. Thank you. That's very sweet. Please tell everyone where you got it and to listen to the podcast. She says, My name is Valerie, and I have a story that you would probably like. You are right, Valerie. That's why I included it today. She says, a few years ago, I got summoned for jury duty and figured it would be the usual boring experience. Sit around all day, drink bad coffee, and hope you don't get picked. Instead, they announced it was a murder trial. And as you can imagine, I was immediately locked in, very invested. But as the clerk read the defendant's name, my stomach dropped. I knew that name, but certainly it wasn't the same person. Could be just a common name. Nope, it was him, and I knew him. Not well enough to call him a friend, I would say, but about a year earlier, we had been coworkers. We worked together at the same restaurant for quite a few years. I had eaten lunch with this man. We complained about management together, joked about work, and spent enough time around each other that I recognized him immediately when I saw his picture. And what's scary is he never gave me a bad vibe. He was so nice and so charming. But I guess that alone is a red flag that I missed. But honestly, who expects their coworker to be a murderer? That would be me. I don't trust anybody. But no, you're so right. That's insane. Like I had a lot of friends that I worked with in the restaurant industry who I would be shocked if I found out that they were on trial for murder. Like that's wild. She says, then the moment came. The judge went around asking if anyone in the room knew the defendant. And after about 30 seconds of internally panicking because I wanted to know everything and be a part of this, I knew I couldn't. So I slowly raised my hand. They brought me into a separate room where I explained how we knew each other. And within minutes, I was dismissed from the jury because they couldn't guarantee that I'd be impartial. I was bummed, but I understood. Still, though, this was my one chance to be a part of the very thing that I lived to consume. But I know it was for a good reason, because would I have been able to remain impartial? I wasn't sure. So instead of being involved in the trial, like everyone else who had known him, I followed the case very closely. And after hearing the details, I was sick. He had murdered his own brother in law over some stupid business that they wanted to start. What a dumb reason to kill someone. Not that there's ever really a good one. She says sometimes you just don't know what a person is truly capable of. It's rumored that he had a drug problem, but I'd never known him to have one. Then again, we only really interacted at work, never hung out outside of work. He was found guilty and sentenced to life. Now, it wasn't premeditated from what I could gather. It sounded more like they had a disagreement, got into a physical altercation, and he stabbed him. Oh my Oh my god, that's not necessary. You don't need to be doing that. How scary. And he did this to his brother-in-law? Oh my god, his poor sister. She goes on to say, driving home that day, I couldn't stop thinking about how surreal this experience was. It was one of the strangest feelings I've ever had. One day, you're sharing lunch with someone at work, and the next thing you know, you're sitting in a courtroom watching them stand trial for murder. Every time I get another jury summons in the mail now, I wonder what story is waiting on the other side of those courthouse doors. I can't believe you got picked for that. She says, if you read this on the podcast, thank you. I really enjoy the Booze Clues stories. She says, although admittedly, I thought originally that they would be drunk stories, but you just spelled it boo because it's a spooky podcast. Oh my God. Do not give me any ideas. You guys, do you want me to tell you drunk stories? You want me to drink and tell you stories? That would be so funny. Okay. That's hilarious. She said, I'd been wanting to write this in, but hadn't had a moment to actually sit down and gather my thoughts until yesterday when all the kids were gone and my husband told me, just do it. So that's what I did. Thank you for being a safe place for me to tell this story. And this person wanted to remain anonymous, so I will not read her name. But that is a wild experience. I have always wondered about cases like that. I like to think that I could be impartial, but I guess you never know until it actually happens. Man, his sister must be beside herself. That is tragic. Thank you for writing that in, though. And if you don't mind disclosing what case it is in just like a separate email, I'd like to know more. But if not, that's totally fine too. I'm just kind of curious now what the case was. True Crime Coven, Ghouligans, before we get back into this case, I need to talk to you about something equally as addictive as true crime, but like way less illegal. And that is Deutsch cookie dough. And no, I'm not talking about sneaking bites and wondering if you're about to contract salmonella. This is 100% safe, edible cookie dough. Eat the whole container. I support you. I support snacks of all kinds. But this is the snack of all snacks. And you guys know me, I love food. Deutsch is like my own little personal tub of therapy. Having a bad day? Have some Deutsch. Feeling a little sad? Have some Deutsch. Babe, you're not sad. You just need cookie dough. And it's also top 5 allergen friendly, which is fantastic news. Not that I have allergies to any of those things, but if you do, you can eat it. And y'all, it is just as much fun to say as it is to eat, I promise. And you don't have to eat it raw. You can bake it. It's cookie dough. There are directions on the tub. So if you feel a crash out coming on, skip the bad decisions. Don't do that. grab the cookie dough instead and use my code SPIRITS20 to get 20% off your purchase. Link is in the show notes to get started on your new snacking obsession. I promise you won't regret it. I've already eaten 4 tubs today. All right, stay safe and stay snacky. Alrighty, guys, this next one is bringing it back to cursed games. This subject line is, don't play Bloody Mary in haunted hotels. This listener says, hi there, my name is Jordan, she, her, and that's it. That's the intro. She just gets right into it. She says, a couple of years ago, my best friend and I decided to spend the night at a supposedly haunted hotel because we thought it would be funny to do some ghost hunting. By supposedly haunted, I mean the Hotel Monte Vista in Flagstaff, Arizona. She says, you are also from Arizona, and from the theme of your podcast, I'm sure you know all about it. Oh, yes, I do. I've not stayed there yet, but I want to so badly. I've heard it's pretty wild, lots of activity. Jordan goes on to say, around midnight, after wandering the halls and convincing ourselves that every creak was paranormal, we somehow decided the smartest possible idea would be to play Bloody Mary in the bathroom mirror of our hotel room. We are grown adults, by the way. I love that even more. That makes it even better. She says, we shut off the lights, stood in front of the mirror, and said, Bloody Mary 3 times. Now, of course, we were pros. This had been something we'd done many times in our youth, and no mirror demon ever attacked us or took us into the mirror into another realm. Well, that I'm aware of. Maybe I'm in another realm right now, and that's why everything is so fucked. Nope. Sorry, friend. Unfortunately, I am in this realm with you, and things just really are that horrible. We'll ask the aliens when they arrive in 16 days to just, beam us up. Beam us right up. Did you guys hear about that? They were like, aliens are said to land in 16 days. Like, can they come sooner? Because this is some bullshit down here. Honestly, though, who knows? Maybe they're already among us. Anyways, she goes on to say, well, surprise, surprise, nothing happened. No face appeared, no ghost showed up, and after laughing at ourselves for being ridiculous grown-ass women playing dumb haunted games, we went to bed thinking the whole thing was just another spooky, silly adventure, and even began to wonder if maybe Bloody Mary just didn't like us. I promise we're cool. But all those thoughts changed after I got home from our little girls' weekend. Things started happening that I couldn't explain. That very night that I got home, and every night after for the next week, around 3 a.m, my bedroom door would slowly drift open. My dog, Lana, started growling at empty corners of the room and refused to walk down the hallway alone. Oh, no. No, no, no. You guys know what I say. What do I always say? Trust your pets. Also, Lana is a super cute name for a dog. I love that. She goes on to say, now Lana is a beefy girl. She's a blue-nosed pitty that I got for protection since I live alone. But more often than not, I'm having to comfort her because she's a big old baby. But even though she's scared of trash bags, kittens, turtles, and the blow dryer, Lana girl doesn't mess when mama is genuinely scared. Yeah, I have one of those too. She a goofy ass dog, but she does not mess around when it comes to mama and the kids. She says, obviously, I took her behavior very seriously. As the nights passed and the door would creak open, I tried to chalk it up to just the AC kicking on or something. But Lana's behavior couldn't be ignored. Every time she went to growl at the same empty corner in the hallway, I kept catching glimpses of someone standing behind me out of the corner of my eye, and also in the hallway mirror. But every time I turned around, there was nothing there. Ew, I don't like that. She said each time it sent chills down my spine. I knew Lana would protect me if there was a real threat, but could she protect me against something that wasn't human? The worst part were the dreams. Almost every night, I dreamed about a woman standing silently behind me in a bathroom. The dream was always the same. I'd wake up, go to brush my teeth, and wash my face, then look up from patting my face dry, and there she was, in the mirror behind me. She never moved or spoke. She just stared at me with long, tangled auburn hair. Now, I do love a good horror movie and often fall asleep to them because I like to live life on the edge. So I figured this was clearly my imagination running wild. I'm 31 for Pete's sake, and Bloody Mary isn't real. Well, she was a historical figure, but I digress. I continued to brush it all off, but after Lana became increasingly aggressive toward the hallway and would spread her little paws out at night when it was time to walk downstairs, oh my goodness, refusing to move, I figured maybe this was more than just my imagination. She had literally never behaved this way unless it was bath time or we had to clip her nails. Oh, my pity does the same thing. Jordan says, I couldn't stand seeing Lana behave this way because it broke my heart. And honestly, I was growing really concerned. After 2 months of this, I started searching spirit attachments online. I tried everything the internet sleuths and Redditors suggested. I cleansed the home with salt. I burned sage until my house smelled like a bonfire. I opened every window to let out the spirits and even walked through every room, telling whatever was there that it was not welcome anymore. This was my house. I even went as far as to get holy water from the local church, and I am not religious. But nothing changed. Eventually, I told my bestie about what was going on when she came over to discuss the book from book club that we were both supposed to read but didn't. You're so real for that. She said she had also been experiencing the same thing, and her cat Link was being a total psycho, hissing at things more than usual. He's actually a pretty chill little guy. She said she had also been having dreams, but hers were that she was stuck in a bathroom at the hotel where we stayed, and a woman kept trying to reach for her through the mirror. She chalked it up to the shenanigans we had gotten ourselves into on our girls' trip. We both decided that this was probably not normal and did a search online for local energy healer. We called and they said that there were no appointments needed and that we could just come in. Fast forward to the next day when we finally met this woman who could have literally passed for young Stevie Nicks. It was scary accurate. She was super nice and very knowledgeable, and after explaining what had been happening, she got very serious with us, and she told us that intentionally trying to contact spirits in a haunted place, even jokingly, can sometimes leave people feeling like they've brought something home with them. She said it likely wasn't anything to worry about because it didn't sound evil, and that spirits often get a bad rap. Most of them are just lost souls. She gave us some obsidian, palo santo, and something called mugwort and taught us how to use them. She also had a paper with an incantation written on it and gave one to each of us. It was a protection spell. I wasn't going to share it initially in the story, but I figured it may help others. So, of course, I called and asked if this was allowed. And in parentheses, she wrote, I don't know the rules. And the lady that we went to said it was fine and welcome, even. So, here you go. I attached a picture of the paper for you. Oh, thank you for doing that. Okay. So, here's what it says, guys. Here's the incantation spell for protection. From harm and hate, I now am free. A shield of peace surrounds me. Ye wandering souls and shades of night, be gone, depart into the light. Oh, I really love that, actually. Thank you. Thank you for sending us that. I'm going to write that down and use it for my own safety. Thank you. Jordan goes on to say, she did an energy cleanse for us using sound bowls and some type of rock that she put on our foreheads as we laid down on our backs. And I could literally feel the rock vibrating on my head. And afterward, we both felt so much better, lighter even. Now, whether you believe in this stuff or not, it's pretty hard to dismiss, in my opinion, because after the cleansing session and following her explicit instructions, everything stopped. The dreams disappeared, Lana and Link started behaving normally again, and the strange feelings in our houses went away. Both my bestie and I were finally able to sleep through the night again. Could it all have been anxiety after scaring myself in a haunted hotel? Absolutely. Will I ever play Bloody Mary again, especially somewhere that's haunted? Not if you paid me. Some games are only fun until you start wondering if something actually answered. If you read this on the pod, thank you with a little smiley face. Stay spooky, Jordan from Tempe. Wow. Oh, see, so that's my issue with these games. Of course, we all played, Bloody Mary as kids, but when you're doing these games in a place that's already filled with residual energy and it is haunted, especially as haunted as Hotel Monte Vista, then yeah, I do worry about contacting things that I may not intend to. I do really love how your Stevie Nicks 2.0 healer said that the spirits get a bad rap. They really do. Like, not everything is demonic, guys, so stop with that shit. But if you play these games, just be sure you close them out properly and protect your space because you never know. Also, I am obsessed with your dog and with Link. Jordan attached pictures of them too, and they're so cute. My goodness. Does Link have thumbs? Oh my gosh, I love cats with thumbs. Oh, they're so pretty. Good girl, Lana. Way to protect your mama. Animals just know when things aren't right. Thank you for writing that in, Jordan. Alrighty, guys, on to our last story of the episode. And I saved this one for last because it is wild. This is a crazy one. This subject line says, "Don't play Answer Man." Hi, Taylor. My name is Josh, and I'd love to tell you a story about some dumb shit we used to do in college. Back in 2016, my roommate and some close friends and I went through a phase where we were obsessed with creepy internet rituals. So one night, we decided to try the Answer Man, also called the telephone game. The rules sounded simple enough. Everyone sits in a circle in a dark room with an old telephone in the middle. One person asks a question out loud, usually something about their future or even how they'll die. I don't think I'd want to know that. He says, and then everyone stays completely silent. Supposedly, if you've done everything correctly, the phone will ring, and whatever answers isn't exactly human. Naturally, we thought it was complete nonsense and had also been partaking in some recreational college activities. Yep, we were stoned. Now, here's the best part. My friend Cynthia, for some reason, had a landline phone. Apparently, she found it when packing for college and asked if she could use it while away. And her parents were like, sure, we don't need it, because it's 2016. Parents. There were four of us sitting around the phone on the floor in my dorm room with my roommate, Brian. The first person asked a question, nothing happened. The second person asked another question, still nothing. Then our third friend laughed and said, "Is anyone actually there?" To which we all started cracking up because, like I said, super high. He put like the little glittery, like sparkle emojis next to super. He says, "We were not taking this seriously at all, but decided that one more person should ask a question. This time, it was my buddy Brian's turn. He asked, 'When will Josh die?' I looked at him and I'm like, 'Hi, I'm Josh. Why the fuck would you ask that?' And started laughing. After about 5 more minutes of waiting with snickering here and there, we decided the game was bogus and we unplugged the phone from the wall. We were all sitting around eating Doritos and we were about to go grab some Taco Bell when suddenly the phone rang. The phone we had just unplugged. No one moved. It rang again. We all just stared at each other in disbelief. No way this was happening. It rang a third time, and the staring continued. My roommate finally reached over and picked it up and said, room 217, this is Brian." Cynthia, who brought the phone, immediately started laughing and said, "Brian, what the fuck?" But then she got silent when she saw Brian's face. The second those words came out of his mouth, all the color drained from his face. I swear he looked like he was going to vomit. He didn't speak, he didn't react. He just slowly hung up the phone. Of course, we all started freaking out and demanding he tell us what happened. What did the voice sound like? Cynthia said, "Was it an old demon or a young demon?" Cynthia, now is not the time. And I was concerned with the answer to the question because it was about me. But still, Brian refused to say another word about it for the rest of the night. Eventually, we did end up getting that Taco Bell and we went back to our room, but no one wanted to stay. Brian and I were so scared that we couldn't sleep. We ended up going down to the common area and sleeping on the couch while watching TV because there was absolutely no way in hell we were staying in our room by ourselves. But here's the wildest part. Sometime around 2 in the morning, I woke up to a faint clicking sound coming from across the room. It took me a second to realize it was the phone, not Cynthia's phone. There was a red emergency phone in the common room, which I assume was supposed to be used for emergencies, like a fire or something. Yes, Josh, that's usually what those are for. You're so funny. He says this landline was making that unmistakable click click sound, like someone was slowly picking up and then hanging up the receiver on the other end. Click, silence. Click, silence. How could I hear this? I still don't know. But being the rational 18-year-old that I was, I got up, grabbed a towel from the kitchen area in the common room, and threw it over the phone because somehow that felt like it would solve the problem. It did not. It kept clicking for the next, I would say, 10 minutes or so. The next morning, Brian asked me sheepishly if I had heard what he'd heard that night. You heard that? I said. I thought you were asleep. He said he pretended because it seemed like I had it handled. Oh my God. You guys, this is so funny, but also so scary. I finally asked him, dude, what did you hear when you answered Cynthia's phone last night? He said there was nothing but static for the first several seconds before a calm, female voice quietly said, 2024, Brian. Oh, I immediately freaked the fuck out because if you remember, he asked when I would die. We told Cynthia what happened and she boxed the phone up that afternoon and dropped it off at a Goodwill. So if anyone listening happens to live in St. Paul and bought an old beige rotary phone from a thrift store back in 2016, I'd just like to formally apologize. That one's on us and it may be haunted. Oh my gosh, no, you passed it on? It's like the Ring. They're going to use the phone and someone's going to talk to them. They're going to have like 7 days or whatever. Oh, I hope not. He says, but here's the crazier part. I'm obviously alive and well, but this truly scared me. I spent years wondering if this was going to be true. And in 2024, I got my answer. I did die for 3 minutes. Dude, no fucking way. So, long story short, I was four-wheeling with my buddy. We were on a trip with the whole group to the White Sands, and I ended up colliding with another driver from a different camp. Oh my God. I was thrown from my quad, and I don't remember anything after that. My friend said my neck bent backwards. Oh, and I couldn't move, but I was breathing. The paramedics came and airlifted me to the hospital, where on the flight, my heart stopped for 3 minutes and 14 seconds. That was September 12th, 2024. The year Brian had heard on the phone. Oh my God. That is insane. Obviously, I'm fine now and very thankful, but I am certain that whoever spoke to Brian in 2016 predicted my death, even if it wasn't permanent. Call it a coincidence, call me crazy, but I am a believer. I still ride quads. I love how you're like, well, anyways, I still have a quad. I still ride quads and I live my life, but I will go skydiving before I ever play another cursed game. Anyway, that's my story. Hope you enjoyed, and don't ask questions you don't want to know the answer to, especially from phone demons. Josh from Utah. Oh my God. Joshua Marie. What? That is dangerous behavior. I didn't even know about that game until I read this. Nope, not going to be playing that. From one believer to another, I think you guys tapped into something when you were playing that game, and if your inhibitions were lowered already, you were absolutely more susceptible to being contacted. That is so wild. First of all, I'm so glad you're okay. I'm also glad you wrote this in because see everybody, like this is why you don't play these damn games. But if you do, protect your energy, okay? Holy cannoli. Thank you for writing that in, Josh, and I'm so glad you're okay. Really, I am. Thank you so much for sharing that with us. And thank you also to everyone else who wrote in. I love you guys so, so much. Thank you for supporting the pod and keeping things interesting. Y'all always keep me on my toes with these stories. I never know what to expect. And I sort of want to know, this is for Josh. I want to know what college you went to. You said it was in St. Paul, so I'm assuming Minnesota. Was your dorm haunted by chance? Just curious. Get back to me on that. Because if you lived in a haunted dorm, that would explain a lot too. Depends what happened there. Yeah, but let me know. Well, you guys, that is all I have for you today. If you have a crazy, funny, spooky, true crime, or peed your pants story, send it in. All stories are welcome. That being said, thanks for tuning in today. Be sure to rate, review, and subscribe so we can grow our coven. Be good humans, and as always, remember to trust your lizard brain. Until next time, goodbye.